Seems like Boston right now is full-blown going sanctuary city mode. Okay, we already see so many other cities in the US, Denver cutting public services like the DMV and just planting flowers just so they could spend more money on the migrant crisis. I think people are pretty mad right now, but now trendy Boston waterfront district could be getting new migrant shelter as Roxbury maxes out. Boston is just like New York and Chicago and Denver, no different. They're just taking in way more people than they can handle. Now, this is the office building, which is in a pretty good neighborhood. This is the Boston Seaport area. It's very, very nice. You got some of the nicest bars, and just crossing the bridge gets you smack in the middle of downtown where all the skyscrapers are. And the Seaport District is actually kind of hip. It's kind of cool. Though it's very industrial looking, it's still a very, very nice place to stay and work and look at. And real estate prices are very expensive in the Seaport District. Just look at the environment, okay? All beautiful new glassy buildings. This is the hot area where all of the rich Boston finance bros want to live in, or if you're a rich Harvard kid. But nevertheless, you do have this office building in this prestigious neighborhood, a 92,000 square feet building located at 24 Farnsworth Street in the middle of the Seaport District, and it could just be turned into a massive migrant shelter. Seems like Boston doesn't know what to do. They got all these people in, and they're actually sheltering these people in places like airports. Like, what's going on here? Because the Boston Logan Airport already has several hundred migrants in them. And the reason why is they took in all these people without actually planning. Like, I don't really understand what a lot of these cities are doing. You know, everyone will be okay with you taking in maybe a few thousand migrants, right? But people aren't happy when you take in 20, 30,000 migrants. And especially when you are not prepared. And when you're not prepared, you're going to be turning some very big, nice buildings in the heart of our downtown area just into migrant shelters. You have the city spending taxpayer money, hundreds of millions of dollars in this situation, which they didn't have to. And on top of that, after spending so much money, the migrants aren't even being treated that great. Many migrants are sleeping in airports, in tents. There's sometimes even rotten food. If you look at some of the New York City shelters, it's just a mess. You're spending hundreds of millions of dollars. Nobody's happy. Or you could just spend a little bit of money, take in maybe 1,000 to 2,000 migrants, help them out, get them to society, get them jobs, get them the American education. I think that would have been so much better than taking in tens of thousands of people, which basically take out your whole entire city because it's so heavily overcrowded. Your services are down all the time, and taxpayer dollars are being spent on it, and there's nothing being returned or spent on the citizens who pay the crazy high taxes. And look at this, right? New Boston man unleashes anger after his recreation center was turned into a migrant camp. This is in Boston, by the way, and I kind of get why the guy is mad. Imagine you live in a community, it's not rich like the Seaport District. You don't have that much money either. And the best thing in your community is probably the recreational center where you can actually play basketball, host events for your kids, and maybe have a couple shows here and there. But now your recreational center is just being turned into a massive migrant shelter. Imagine paying all these different taxes as a working citizen. Just have to have your parks, your gyms, your recreational centers basically turn into a massive migrant shelter. I kind of get the man's frustration. Dude's not happy at all. And I think a lot of people in this community are pretty mad as well. They're like, yeah, Boston is essentially targeting poor communities and turning the few things they have into migrant shelters. And like, here's the thing. There's a lot of homeless people in Boston. There's a lot of people addicted to drugs. And the city's like, you know what? Screw them. Let's just do the migrant crisis thing. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully Boston recovers. Because now they're really eyeing the Fort Point office building, okay, as a potential migrant shelter. They're really thinking about this, right? This is actually supposed to be like this really high-end place, the Seaport District. And the Seaport District might just pull a San Francisco. This is what the Seaport District looks like. It's beautiful. It looks really, really nice. It's super high-end. And now we could be seeing the Seaport District just straight up pulling a San Francisco, having migrant shelters everywhere. Now, here's the thing. I think migrants, they need to be sheltered. Okay, they travel thousands of miles here. They need to be treated properly. But like I said, when you don't have a plan, when you don't even have any shelters made, why are you even taking in tens of thousands of people? That's what a lot of people are complaining about. So let's see what happens here. You know, a lot of the lower class communities, the poor communities, a lot of them are kind of stuck with the bill. Many of their places are being turned to migrant shelters. And I think overall, everyone is just pretty fed up. They're kind of done with the situation. At first, everyone was kind of cool with it, but even now, hardcore Democrats in places like Boston and Chicago are thinking about voting Republican now, which is pretty crazy. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. What do you guys think about the whole entire migrant crisis? And do you guys think Boston will have the ability to solve this issue?